1. Who possesses the authority to confiscate a driver's license during a routine traffic violation? Answer: LTO law enforcement officers or LTO deputized agents. 2. What is the prescribed action for a driver when operating a vehicle on a public road? Answer: maintain focus on steering wheel and the road ahead. 3. Where is it mandatory to display your vehicle's license plate number? Answer: 1 in the front and 1 in the rear of the vehicle. 4. What is the maximum duration of validity for a driver's license renewal in the absence of any traffic violations? Answer: a validity of 10 years. 5. For how many hours can a temporary operator's permit, TOP, serve as a temporary driver's license? Answer: 72 hours. 6. What should be the color of auxiliary lamps installed at the front of a vehicle? Answer: white or yellowish white. 7. What might occur if a driver fails to manage stress effectively? Answer: potential escalation to road rage. 8. What is the term for a storage compartment affixed at the side of a motorcycle, not exceeding the height of the motorcycle seat, considered as a motorcycle accessory? Answer: saddlebag/box. 9. According to RA number 11229, what is the permissible age for a child to sit in the front passenger seat of a car? Answer: more than 12 years old. 10. What is the minimum height requirement for a child to be exempted from using a child restraint system? Answer: 150 centimeters and above. 11. Which types of motor vehicles fall under the Motor Vehicle Users Charge Law? Answer: all motor vehicles registered with LTO. 12. When is an alcohol breath analyzer, ABA, utilized? Answer: when the driver fails at least one of the field sobriety tests. 13. What is the consequence if a driver declines mandatory testing when suspected of driving under the influence of liquor? Answer: confiscation of driver's license and automatic revocation. 14. Is it permissible for a driver to use a photocopy of their driver's license while driving? Answer: no. 15. What precaution should be taken before crossing a primary highway? Answer: stop, look, and proceed only when safe. 16. Which statement is accurate? Answer: a driver's license holder authorized to drive vehicles with manual transmission, mount, is allowed to operate vehicles with automatic transmission, at. 17. Under what circumstances might the registration of a motor vehicle be suspended? Answer: if the motor vehicle is found to be unsightly or capable of causing excessive damage to public roads. 18. Where do the collected payments for motor vehicle users charge go? Answer: the collected payments shall be utilized to upgrade or maintain roads. 19. What is the permissible age for applying for a non-professional driver's license? Answer: 17 years old. 20. Under what conditions can a driver lend their driver's license? Answer: under no circumstances. 21. If a vehicle is stationary at an intersection, during which color of the traffic light can the driver compose text messages? Answer: none. Texting is prohibited even if the vehicle is stationary at an intersection. 22. What is the term for a fabricated storage compartment installed behind the seat of a motorcycle, recognized as a motorcycle accessory? Answer: customized top box. 23. What is the primary objective of subjecting a vehicle to regular maintenance inspections? Answer: to assess the roadworthiness of the vehicle. 24. What quality characterizes a defensive driver? Answer: utilizes basic knowledge of vehicle maintenance. 25. Who is exempted from Republic Act No. 10666 or Children's Safety on Motorcycle Act? Answer: a child who needs immediate medical attention. 26. Where must the number plate of a motorcycle be affixed? Answer: at the rear of the motorcycle. 27. What is the maximum height at which a driver can install their mobile phone from the base of the dashboard? Answer: 4 inches. 28. What could be the adverse consequence of making eye contact with an irritated driver? Answer: provocation of the irritated driver. 29. Is it permissible for a driver to drive over transition lines? Answer: no. 30. Where can an alleged traffic violation be contested? Answer: at the relevant traffic adjudication office. 31. Can a driver, whose license has just expired, drive to the nearest LTO to renew the license? Answer: no. 32. When can a child be exempted from using a child restraint system? Answer: if the child has a medical, mental, or psychological condition. 33. Under what circumstances is it allowed to overtake on a curve? Answer: if the driver's view is unobstructed within a distance of 150 meters and there is no prohibition indicated by pavement markings. 34. What is the initial classification for applicants of a new driver's license? Answer: non-professional driver's license, NPDL. 35. Who is exempted from using seat belts? Answer: motorcycle riders or tricycle drivers. 36. What is the penalty for a 30-day suspension of a driver's license? Answer: imposed if the driver fails to pay the corresponding penalty of the apprehension within 15 days. 37. What is the result if a driver deliberately disregards a regulatory traffic sign? Answer: potential road crash. 38. In a situation where a driver wants to change to a higher gear, but a vehicle from the opposite direction crosses quickly, what should the driver do? Answer: remain alert, stop, and yield to the crossing vehicle. 39. Is using a mobile phone illegal while driving, if not in hands-free mode? Answer: yes, it is illegal. 40. Can a driver operate a motorcycle if their license bears DL code B? Answer: no. 41. When can a driver use a mobile phone while driving? Answer: to call authorities to report a crime or road crash. 42. What does a flashing red traffic light signify? Answer: stop before the stop line and proceed only when safe. 43. What does the depicted traffic sign indicate? Answer: roundabout ahead.
43. At an intersection, if two vehicles arrived at the same time, which vehicle has the right of way? Answer: vehicle on the right. 44. When negotiating a curve on a highway at a relatively high speed, you should. Answer: decrease your speed further as you enter the curve. 45. When planning to overtake a slower vehicle in front of you at night, you should. Answer: flick your dimmer, switch 2 or 3 times to signify your intention to the driver of the vehicle that you intend to overtake. 46. You are driving on a 2-lane road. A vehicle coming in the opposite directions decide to overtake. Judging by his speed and distance from you, he will not make it and he is on the head-on collision course with you. What will you do? Answer: reduce your speed right away and pull over to the right shoulder of the road. 47. Driving in heavy rains can be extremely dangerous because visibility is limited. What should you do? Answer: when you cannot see more than 20 meters in front of you, turn on your hazard lights, headlights and look for a safe place to park. 48. A flashing red signal means. Answer: you must stop and then go only when it is safe to do so. 49. Your speed while driving at night should keep on. Answer: the distance that you can see where you come to a complete stop within the distance that your headlights can light up. 50. Which of the following affects your visibility? Answer: defective or dirty headlights. 51. When driving at night, you should. Answer: always turn your headlights on. 52. Being passed is normal part of driving and should not be taken as an insult to one's ability, you should. Answer: slow down and make it easy to stop. 53. When oncoming vehicle deliberately crosses the centerline to pass another vehicle, you should be. Answer: alert and be ready to slow down or stop if necessary. 54. When an oncoming vehicle crosses the centerline in a straight road, you should be. Answer: slow down and keep to right. 55. When an oncoming vehicle is forced to cross the centerline to avoid hitting another vehicle which suddenly pulled out from the lane, just. Answer: be alert and be prepared to slow down and give way. 56. When an oncoming vehicle crosses the centerline in making a left turn, a driver should. Answer: wait for oncoming traffic to clear up. 57. When approaching a flooded area and you have to go through it, what should you do? Answer: proceed at a very slow speed. 58. A single solid yellow or white line means. Answer: passing, overtaking is not allowed. 59. If two vehicles approach or enter an intersection at approximately the same time, which vehicle has the right of way? Answer: the vehicle on the right. 60. To avoid intersection collision, a driver must. Answer: know and practice the rules relating to the right of way and proper procedure in crossing an intersection. 61. Passing, overtaking is allowed, if. Answer: on highway with 2 or more lanes. 62. A driver on a highway shall yield the right of way to. Answer: police, fire department vehicles and ambulances when such vehicles are on official business. 63. A driver on a highway shall yield the right of way to. Answer: pedestrians crossing within a crosswalk. 64. This traffic signs warn you that school children may be present in the vicinity. Answer: Pentagon. 65. A driver of a vehicle approaching a yield sign in an intersection shall. Answer: slow down and yield the right of way to any vehicle in the intersection. 66. A flashing red light means. Answer: you must stop, and then go only when it is safe to do so. 67. When the vehicle you are driving runs off the road or hits an electric post or parked car, your most probable reason is. Answer. You are driving too fast and lost control of your vehicle. 68. When you have to stop at a traffic light. Answer. Stop before and close to the stop line. 69. The traffic sign means, yield the right of way. Answer. Inverted triangle. 70. The signal warns of a hazard ahead. Answer. Diamond. 71. This traffic sign states direction and distances. Answer. Horizontal rectangle. 72. The mark for a railway crossing. Answer. Crossbuck. 73. Children must be held in approved child restraint if there are. Answer. 6 years old and below. 74. Seatbelts must be worn by children aged. Answer. 7 years old and above. 75. The proper hand signal for a left turn is. Answer. Left arm straight in horizontal position. 76. Using the shoulder of the road to pass the right of the car ahead of you is. Answer. Against the law. 77. The temporary operator's permit, TOP, authorizes the apprehended driver to operate motor vehicle for a period not exceeding. Answer. 72 hours. 78. A red flag or red light must be attached to any load that extends over. Answer. 1 meter to the rear end of the vehicle. 79. When a vehicle starts to skid, what should you do? Answer. Slow down, ease off the gas pedal and turn your wheels to the direction of the skid. 80. To obtain one's driver's license, one must be at least. Answer. 17 years old. 81. If you are parking uphill without a curb, turn the wheels towards the. Answer. Edge of the street. 82. If you park facing downhill, always turn your wheels towards the. Answer. Edge of the street. 83. In the interest of safety of every driver is obliged to do more than the law demand. If you doubt exists at an intersection, one must. Intersection safety rule. Answer. Yield the right of way. 84. If a driver is driving too fast into a curve, he. Answer. Should not slam the brakes. 85. Railway crossing are marked with a crossbuck sign and usually with warning lights. These signs and signal means a driver must stop, slow down and proceed as directed. If full stop is required, stop from the nearest rail at least. Answer. 5 meters. 86. Never park or stop at the side of the road with a fire hydrant. Answer. Correct. 87. A driver should not park or stop at the side of the road within 6 meters of a crosswalk because it reduces visibility of pedestrians to the drivers. Answer. Correct. 88. A driver must park within the curb by putting the car in low gear and setting the parking brake for at least. Answer. 30 centimeters. 89. When parking uphill with a curb, turn wheels towards the. Answer. Center of the street. 90. Having a driver's license is a. Answer. Privilege. 91. How close should another car before dim your headlights? Answer. 150 meters. 92. The effects of alcohol in driving are the following except. Answer. Coordination of body movements and self-judgment. 93. If another car enters the intersection at the same time you do and it is on your right, you must. Same time rule. Answer. Yield. 94. If the driver is turning left, he must. U-turn left rule. Answer. Yield to approaching cars. 95. If a driver passes a blind person, he. Answer. Should not sound his horn. 96. If you are driving in a curb lane which ends ahead, what would you do first in order to merge without interfering with other traffic? Answer. Change lane to the left. 97. A steady red cross means. Answer. You cannot drive on this lane. 98. In changing lanes, what should be done first? Answer. Make signal. 99. Some drivers are constantly sounding their horns, especially if they are in a hurry, which is an offense. When is such a situation allowed? Answer. When it is done as a warning to avoid accident. 100. The speed limit signs along the roadways should be thought of as. Answer. The recommended speed under the best condition.